Episode 332. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting more and more, adding up more and more. 332 episodes of the Pancakes and Power Slam show. Pancakes and Power Slams. 332 weeks. Come on, somebody. Let's do this. It's going to be a fun time, ladies and gentlemen. I am Chris Featherstone, as always, here to have some fun with the interactive chat with the hashtag Pancakes and Power Slams, with the chat that's already coming up and me some love like Joseph right now. And it's going to be some fun. It's just me tonight. Evan is not feeling well this week, so he'll be back next week. About that, that's going to be fun. All right. Special thank you to Brian Cage, buddy of mine. That I just felt like playing that interview for the Pancakes and Power Slam show. Um, really cool interview as far as his thoughts on Bobby Lashley and Brock Lesnar. Now he is the X Division champion, so he has a lot to. His his shoulder is a little heavier because he's going to have to carry the X Division as the champion, as the leader, and go against all the good all the good names that has uh, that is in the X Division right now. There's a lot of good X Division talent, as Brian Cage said. I mean, you got Rich Swann, you've got Ishimori, you've got Trevor Lee. You've got a lot of really good names. Desmond Xavier, who's fantastic, and of course Matt Seidel. So lots of good names in the X division. Although you got Andrew Everett and DJZ, who was more of a tag team than singles X division stars. But you always got that opportunity for them to, you know, go in the singles division. DJZ recently had an interview, and he was talking about how ZNE hasn't really been used, not very much lately, and they were just tag team champions. That's one thing. That's the thing about Impact Wrestling. You just some people, you're on top one week, and then a couple weeks later, you're not used for a while. So that's the thing when it comes to Impact Wrestling. But I will say this though. I will say the Impact is, from what I've seen, and I've been an Impact. There was times where I was just like, Impact just pull the plug. There were other times that I was just like, hey, I was an avid Impact Wrestling apologist at the time as well. There's just so much to say about Impact Wrestling over their 16 years. Talk about 9 lives and more. I mean, it's like, wow. there's there's so much going on with Impact Wrestling. So, but ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have some fun just like we do each and every week. This is the Pancakes and Power Slam show. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to dive right into the headlines, and here we go. First trivia question on deck, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. China has 2 reigns as Intercontinental Champ. Who did she beat? China has 2 reigns as Intercontinental Champ. Who did she beat? All right, let's get right into the headlines for tonight. Kane voted mayor of Knox County, Tennessee. I think it was like 23 votes for the primary that he just was able to squeeze by. Talk about kicking out of 2 and doing a Hawk Up. Wild Boy. Wild Boy's on it already. Already. No. No. Let's see. I think Wild Boy, you're almost right. I think you're almost right. You're almost right. You're almost right. Because Jeff Jarrett was the good housekeeping match. and it was stripped with him and with her and Jericho. So you're almost right. Well, boy, there's one person that she beat in her second reign as Intercontinental Champion. So you're almost right, almost there. But yeah, Kane. Speaking of Intercontinental Champions, Kane was Intercontinental Champion before, and yeah, so it's interesting because Kane, out of anyone, he became mayor. He's like, just like Jesse the Body Ventura, and so let me see. Let me just get some clarity here with the Intercontinental Championship here. China defeated Jeff Jarrett on October 17th, 1999. And then she beat Val Venus August 27th, 2000. So, yep, I was right. There was it went into, there was like, it became vacant during the Jericho and China run. But yeah, she beat Jeff Jarrett and Val Venus. So those are the two correct answers. JEFF, JARRE, double T, double J, ha ha, Jeff Jarrett, the world's greatest singer, the world's greatest entertainer, and the world's greatest blank. There's a pop-up question for you all. The world's greatest blank. What is the third thing that Jeff Jarrett said when he was the world's greatest? All these things. World's greatest singer, world's greatest entertainer, and the world's greatest blank. So, all right. So, yeah, I mean, I think it was a shame that he was barely even featured on the WWE Evolution DVD. That she was, yeah, that's a good point. China. Yeah, it's a shame that China was barely even featured. Kevin, yes, world's greatest wrestler. Ha. It's a shame that China was barely even featured on the WWE Evolution DVD. Yeah, I agree. It's sad. WWE kind of picks and chooses which people they want to endorse amongst their mess. I don't agree at all with China's. I don't agree with the lifestyle changes, lifestyle choices she made. That's unfortunate. But at the same time, there's people who's done some crazy stuff outside of wrestling as well. So I mean, you gave the Ultimate Warrior the Hall of Fame the Hall of Fame nod, and Warrior was known for saying some crazy stuff too. So, and there's other people too. I mean, Warrior's just not the only person that said some crazy stuff, and Rachel saying world's greatest at getting his butt kicked by a woman. Yes, the Good Housekeeping match. And then Jared, those are the days where wrestling was just so intense, and it was just like you had that remote in your hand. You had the remote in your hand, and you were just clicking and pressing, and you had that reset button, or I think it was either the reset button I remember having or the back button on my remotes, and I would always have that remote every single Monday and watch Raw and Nitro every single week. Every single week, I would watch Raw and Nitro, and I had that remote, and I would just flip from I would flip from was it TNT? It was on Monday nights, USA to TNT, back to USA, back to TNT. So yeah, very interesting. All right, so for those who are just joining us, this is what we do every single week. Ask Chris. We have a hashtag. Just use the hashtag, and then I'll address the questions. And we do this every week and have a lot of fun with it. We also have fun doing trivia. trivia every week. We talk about the headlines of the week. We also do the Raw and SmackDown review. And at the end of the show, we have a topic called the flavor of the week. It's a random discussion topic we talk about every single week. And this week, we're going to talk about the top 5 wrestling theme songs between 2000 and 2005. So it's going to be really fun. I really missed a Rock and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Yeah, it's the Attitude Era was just a fun and exciting era, and from a wrestling standpoint, I'm a ruthless aggression guy. So we'll see. So yeah, we talk about the flavor of the week at the end of the show. So give us your thoughts at the end. We do the top 5. Oh man, Wild Boy. Wow. That is a wonderful, wonderful question. Wild Boy, ask Chris, who is your Mount Rushmore of wrestling? Oh, okay. So Mount Rushmore is, let's see. So I'll choose 4. All right. So do 4. So should I do 4 or 5 for Mount Rushmore? Let me know. I'll choose 4 or 5. It depends on what y'all want to do. Usually 4. Yeah. It's usually 4. So yeah. All right. DX says 4. Rachel says 5. All right, DX. You know what? I'll do 4 and an honorable mention. How about that? That's the middle of that. What's going on, G? G says 4 as well. I'll do 4 with an honorable mention. Okay, I'll do my honorable mention first. Okay, on the spot. Okay. Honorable mention would be Bruno. Yeah, I'll say honorable mention would be Bruno. And the 4 would be Hogan, Flair, Rock, and Austin. Yeah, I mean that's really, I mean, yeah, Hogan, Flair, Rock, Austin. Those are the 4. I would say those are the 4 biggest names of the past 30 years. Yeah, Hogan, Flair, Rock, Austin. Those are, I mean, you can't, I don't think there's a really good point to argue as far as just the 4 biggest names in pro wrestling over the past 30 years. Hogan, Flair, Rock, Austin. Yeah, that's that. It's funny. Hogan, Flair, Rock, and Austin. None of them are in my top, or Bruno. Bruno's a legend. None of them are in my personal top 5. So DX said he would place Flair with HBK. No, see, I can't. There's no way that I can say that Michaels is a bigger name overall than Flair is. Now, if as far as a personal top, I would say, I would say that Michaels would be above if I had like a top 10. I usually have a top 5. One of these days, I'm gonna bring it. I can branch it out to 10. I think I've done it before, but I usually do my top 5. Yeah. So I just can't see Michaels being above Flair when it comes to just an all-time overall, type of overall biggest names ever. I would have to go Hogan, Flair, Rock, Austin. Yeah, those are the 4 biggest names of the past at least 30 years, at least 30 years. So that's dating back to 88. So Hogan was big at that time until mid 90s. When he went to, that's one of my trivia questions, I think. So I'm not going to say that. So, so he mid 90s, and then mid 90s, I would say Austin took the reins. He took the torch at that time. So it went from Flair to Hogan to Austin to Rock, perhaps. But Austin and Rock at that time was still like kind of neck and neck. I would say Austin. I would say Cena's probably took the torch after Austin, because Austin's last match was 18, was it? Or 19? No, wait. 2003. So 19 was Austin's last match against The Rock, because they went against each other in 15, 17, and 19. So it's been 15 years. It's crazy. It's been 15 years since Austin. Talk about someone who's really retired. I mean, Michaels is too. It's been a while for him. 26 since for Michael, so it's been 8 years since he's been retired. So he's stuck with his guns. Austin, it's been 15 years since Austin's been retired, and Austin's what 53 now. So it was what he was approaching 38 when he retired. So very interesting. When it come to think about it, he wasn't even 40 yet when he retired. Michaels was what? He's born in what, 65, I think. So because Michaels is what, 53 now? If I'm not mistaken. Michaels is 53, I think. So he 65, yeah. So he's 53. So 8 years ago would have been 45, and Mania was before his birthday, so he was 40. So he was 44 when he retired. Michaels was. So that's still relatively young to retiring at 44. So yeah, that's interesting. And the funny thing about that is that there's a lot of names who are in their 40s who are kind of moving up to the main event scene. You got Bobby Roode, who's 41 now, or about to be 41. Lashley's 42. Brock is 41. Cena's 41. AJ's 41, I think, or 42. Or 40 or 41. I think AJ is. Maybe 40. Maybe 41. So yeah, that's interesting. Thank you, Rachel. Love your pictures behind you. Any other questions? Hashtag ask Chris. AJ's 41. Yeah, so look at your top names now. AJ's 41. Yeah, I said that, Kevin. 26 was HBK's last match. So he was 44. He was about to turn 45. So he was 44 when he retired. Austin, his last match was 19. So I think he's 50th as well. I think he would have been, let's see, how old is Austin? Let's see. Goodness, all of them are getting older. Maybe he's Austin was born 64. Yeah. I think December of 64, if I'm not mistaken. So and at 19, which was 15 years ago, 2003, yeah, he'll be 54 in December. So yeah, 15 years ago, 30 from 15 years ago from now, he would have been 38. At Mania, he would have been he's 37. 37 when he was retired. And now you got people like Bobby Roode's in his early 40s, AJ, Bobby Lashley, Brock Lesnar, John Cena. So 5 of your top guys are over 40. How about that? And Sheamus, I think he turned 40 this year, or turned 40. Samoa Joe turns 40 next year. So that's interesting. A lot of the top guys are in their 40s or about to be 40. All right. Speaking of Samoa Joe, Wild Boy's asking, you think Samoa Joe wins at SummerSlam? No, I do not. I do not. I think AJ is going to take it. Wild Boy. Man, yeah, I'll put you over for that. You get the clap for today. Love this podcast. We talk wrestling and do math. How about that? It's informative as well. All right. So hashtag ask Chris. See, Kevin, who's your favorite New Japan Pro Wrestling wrestlers? Number one is Kazuchika Okada. He's actually in my top my top 5 right now. He's been in my top 5 for a few years now. I would say a big fan of Kushida. I think he just kills the junior heavyweight division. He kills it over there. Big fan of Tomohiro Ishii. I love his matches. Anytime him and Minoru Suzuki goes, every time they go against each other, yikes! It's just a slugfest every time they go against each other. Katsuyori Shibata, before he had his really bad incident against Okada last year, I was a big fan of Shibata. It's good to see Kenny Omega. I mean, Kenny Omega is the man over there. The only thing is, easy on the V triggers. Who else I like? I like a lot. I mean, I love New Japan. Period. Roppongi 3K, not so much. I like Rocky Romero, but not 3K too so much. Zack Sabre Jr. is always fun to watch in the ring. Will Ospreay is always fun to watch in the ring. Yano's always fun. Toru Yano. Ishimori is killing it. He was in the finals of the Best of the Super Juniors. Of course, the person who won, Takahashi. He's awesome. Yeah. Well, I would say my favorites is of course Tanahashi. How can we forget Tanahashi? I would say my favorites is I would say my top 3 is Okada, Kushida, and Ishii. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that. I like Hiroki Goto too. And then Jeff Cobb now, he's doing some New Japan stuff. Big fan of Jeff Cobb too. Especially when he was Matanza and Lucha Underground. He had the bodysuit, the jumpsuit, and the mask. That was big. I've seen Jeff Cobb compete live. I was doing coverage. I do coverage every WrestleMania weekend. I was in New Orleans this year, and I do a lot of coverage and interviews for like indie shows throughout the week, from like Thursday on. And yeah, it was watching Jeff Cobb wrestle live is super amazing. So, Wild Boy's asking, does Tama Tonga have real heat with New Japan with his Twitter and attacking a fan? It's interesting. Kevin, nice, got to meet Haku. Haku is known for being the pro wrestling's most dangerous person backstage. No one wants to mess with Haku. Yeah, it's funny. I think Tama Tonga is a really good heel. I think he's up there too as being one of my favorites, just as from a character standpoint. Now, he's a heel, so so for me, I'm a traditionalist. So I like Tama Tonga because he's a good bad guy and I want him to lose. So that's my, when I like a heel, typically that's what I mean. Like you're doing a really good job of making people not like you. So Tama Tonga, I mean, he's healing it up, man. He really is. It's funny because there was just a report today that they're going to give him disciplinary action for his Twitter stuff and the fan stuff. And I think sometimes you get so much in the heat of the moment that, especially when you're a heel, you want to heal it up. I mean, you really want to give it all when it comes to being a heel. And Tonga, man, he's that guy. He's that guy. And uh, Tonga Loa, who was Camacho in the WWE. I've met him actually. I met him last year in Orlando, and he's deceptively taller than people think. Definitely deceptively taller. But I like Fale too. I'm glad you brought. Yeah. You know what? I would say Fale is probably in my top five. I think Fale is not the best person in the ring, but the underboss. It's just I'm a big. I just like the big type of feel to him. You know. Yeah. I mean, I think Fale, his biggest achievement was winning the Intercontinental Championship. But yeah, I can see I would love a Fale never run. I think he fits kind of like the never open weight, because never open weight is usually kind of like the hardcore style. Michael Elgin has been he was never champion this year. Goto, Minoru Suzuki. So the never open weight division has been more of like a slugfest over the past few years. And I think Fale would be a really good person to be in that division. I would love to see a Fale Ishii match. I would love to see like Hamna, he's coming back in Fale. That would be awesome. Fale and Will Ospreay, things like that. So Anunnaki asks Chris, do you see Shibata coming back to New Japan? It's it really, I mean, he wants to, of course, but his incident was near fatal, so it really depends, honestly. So I would love to see him back. I love to see him. He definitely has to be easy on the headbutts, because that headbutt is what got him to the place, to where he is now, unfortunately. But I will say that if he comes back, I would definitely love to see him back in the Never division. I would love to see matches against Ishii and Suzuki and things like that, but definitely easy on the headbutts for sure. Again, hashtag ask Chris. Let's see. We got Kevin asking, am I a UFC fan? I am a UFC fan. I usually watch the big ones. I usually keep up with like the results, but I usually watch like the marquee ones. The last one I watched was 225, I think. Punk and Michael Jackson, excuse me. That was 225 in Chicago, I believe. I think that's the last one I saw. And of course, 226 was Cormier and Stipe Miocic when Brock Lesnar came in. Yeah. So McGregor. I think Conor McGregor is going to take it. Who's your pick, Khabib or McGregor is the question. I think Conor McGregor is going to take it. Yeah. All right. So I'll keep asking questions. Hashtag ask Chris. Let's do another trivia question. What was Giant Gonzalez's name in WCW? What was Giant Gonzalez's name in WCW? So let's talk about John Cena. Real quick. Kane, hats off to him. Hats off to him. I mean, 51 years old. Anderson Silva, I think someone's telling me. Yes. I think he's awesome. No, or I think you're maybe talking about Giant Silva. He just says Silva. I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, he's 51 years old. He's a shoe-in Hall of Famer. There's nothing else that he should do. There's nothing else to be done. He was a world heavyweight champ. He was WWE champ. Although never really had a longer reign. I think probably his best reign recently was the whole vegetative state with the Undertaker, and that was like 2010. So yeah, that was probably that was 8 years ago. So I mean, it was good to see him come back with Daniel Bryan. That was a shocker. But yeah, I mean, he's won it. He won fair and square, and he's the man. He's the man on in Knox County. Got an answer saying El Gonzalez. No, you got one word right, but not both of them. It is not El Gonzalez. There you go, wild boy. There you go. The answer is El Gigante. El Gigante. Unfortunately, he was just he was really rough to watch in the ring, unfortunately. Next question. Who became known for ripping the turnbuckle pad and shaking the foam out? Who became known for ripping the turnbuckle pad and shaking the foam out? So yeah, he's 51. He said that he'll make some appearances in WWE, which is fine. I mean, he really should be in the Hall of Fame, to be honest with you. I mean, he should retire and be in the Hall of Fame next year. Maybe the Undertaker's going to do that too, perhaps. So yes, Kevin, good job. George the Animal Steel, or as Jesse the Body Ventura would say, good job, Joe, as well. As Jesse the Body Ventura would say, Animal Steel. That's Jesse the Body Ventura's comment. Animal Steel. Wow, look at what Animal Steel just did. So yeah, he said he can make. Kane said he's going to make some appearances, so we'll see. I mean, there's really nothing else for him to do. But he was in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal this year. They're pretty much that pretty much shows. Thank you, Kevin. I really do like these podcasts, is what Kevin said. Yeah, the crazy thing is that Kane, I mean, he was in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, so that really goes to show, what what he's doing, the work that he does. I mean, the Team Hell No thing with Daniel Bryan was cool. But there's not really anything else to do, with Kane. Let him retire and be in the Hall of Fame next year. So he'll be a mayor and in the Hall of Fame. So I think that would be great. Next subject is let's talk about John Cena. John Cena, for those who just who are watching the show for the first time. That's a joke that we have here, the Pancakes and Powerslams show. When we say John Cena, we have to say it the way that Justin Roberts said it, and when he would introduce his name, John Cena. And so that's the run. That's one of many running jokes here on the Pancakes and Powerslam show. The other one, of course, is "Do It For You," and that's Booker T. So subscribe to iTunes. Leave a positive review, and you hear all the running jokes and the origins of the running jokes that we have here on the Pancakes and Powerslam show. We have a lot of fun here. Next question asks Chris, does Cody ever return to WWE? Does he need to do with the success he had so far? Yes, eventually. Yeah, eventually he'll return, but not now. I mean, he doesn't need to return, and that's one of the things. That's one of the things. And I feel like this with Chris Jericho too. There's not really much like Chris Jericho. I mean, I would love to see Jericho back in the WWE, but there's no need in him, and there's no need for Cody, because if Cody returns to WWE right now, by no means anything, by no means of the imagination would he be on the same level as he is in Ring of Honor, in New Japan, And so he definitely wouldn't be on that status. He definitely wouldn't if Cody went back to the WWE on Raw, he definitely would not be a main eventer. Now he's a main eventer. Now he's you know, he's in a much better state than what he would be right now in WWE. And to be honest with you, I don't ever see him being in the same kind of state that he would that I would never see Cody be in the same type of status that he is now than he was. I mean, in WWE, I don't see him being a main event at WWE. Maybe Intercontinental again, top mid card, US, perhaps a couple main events here and there. But Cody's he's a main event talent on the outside WWE, in Ring of Honor, in New Japan. So why come back? I mean, of course, the money, that's always the go-to answer, which I don't disagree with. I mean, if the money's better, go. But sometimes I've interviewed many people on my show. I don't know. I don't even know how many people I've interviewed on my show. I'll get a tally. I would say probably 120 or 30, somewhere around there. And so, out of all the people I've interviewed, I've had really good conversations off air with a lot of them, and a lot of them just recently quit WWE or about to go back to WWE. And a lot of people say they're going back for the money, but there's a lot of people who just don't want to. Like, for instance, I've interviewed Jack Swagger on my show, and he was talking about, hey, listen, he wanted to quit, and he was in a state where he just wasn't being utilized, and sometimes the money is not a good reason to stay. People rather have a good name in a good reputation, just in case they do get released, that they just won't be buried and be less of a stock than what they used to. That's why I got to give kudos to Cody. He felt that he wasn't being properly utilized. He was bold enough, to ask for a release from the juggernaut, as Vince would say, of wrestling, and he's killing it. I mean, period, man. He's killing it, and he was in the Indies, but now he's doing stuff for ROH in New Japan. So pro wrestling nowadays really opens up an avenue for people to do very, very well. So I've interviewed Court Bauer on my show before, and man, MLW is killing it. I watched the Battle Riot. It was really fun. And yeah, I was introduced to some new names. What's the dude's name? I think MJF or something like that. Really cool talent, great heel, great traditional heel. And I forgot the other guy's name, real big guy's name. That was he had to interview. He had to be eliminated by like half a dozen people at least in the Battle Riot. But the Battle Riot did a story, had a really good story to it. Jack Swagger was the last person with Tom Lawler, and it was a good story to it. And so yeah, I mean, it's giving people opportunities to still stay very, very relevant outside of WWE. Like Simon Grimm used to be Simon Gotch, of course, Jack Swagger. Sammy Callahan's killing it, both just period. I talked to him this year actually during WrestleMania weekend. We had a good discussion, and yeah, I mean, he's there's so many people who are doing a fantastic job outside of WWE that the WWE is not the end all be all anymore. It's just not. So, and that's really good, and that's a really good thing to know as a pro wrestling talent that 15 years ago when the indie scene was barely even relevant, it's like it was like WWE or bust. TNA, of course, but you talk about a steep pay cut, and just TNA was still rocking at that time, but it still got to the point where you know, it was 2003, so it was very much in its infancy. So it wasn't a like successful number two promotion 15 years ago. But now, I mean, there's MLW. You know, PWG's been around for a while, but they're still around and thriving. Of course, you got Ring of Honor, who's just incredible. You know, my number one favorite wrestler who's been my number one the past few years, Jay Lethal's the champ there. And you've got Lucha Underground. You've got Impact, you know, who's definitely having a great, you know, 9th or 10th life. They're on the upswing again. There's a lot of good promotions. PCW, you know, in California, I'm buddies with the promoter from PCW, and they're killing it, bringing in some awesome names like the Great Muta, Pentagon Jr., RVD. You know what I mean? So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. Bob Boy says the Young Bucks have proved that. Absolutely. Another question: can NXT wrestlers refuse to go to the main roster if called up? No, they can't. People want to get called up because there's a significant pay raise from the main roster. I can definitely understand why people wouldn't want to get called up for the main roster. That makes perfect sense to me. Because you know you got people like Apollo Crews who would be killing it in NXT right now. Definitely would be a top guy, but he's not being used at all. Tyler Breeze, another person who was a top name in NXT, you know, came to the main roster and just really, I mean, I like Breezango, but they're just a comedic type of jobber tag team. I don't ever see someone like a Tyler Breeze ever getting some type of push or anything like that. So I can definitely see what you mean with that. Kevin's asking, do you think Kenny Omega will go to WWE when his New Japan contract runs out? Listen, if the money's good, I'll say this in my Randy Savage voice. Yeah, if the money's good, yeah, anybody's got a price. Yeah, you will go to the main man WWE. Yeah, dig it. That's my answer for that. If the money's right, absolutely. Jose is asking at next year's WrestleMania, would you have Cena versus Reigns and Brock versus Braun and have a good build-up? Macho Chris, absolutely. Absolutely, yeah. No, man, I am Jose. I am set on Rock versus Reigns. That's it's a bar that I've set. I don't want to see nothing else. I want that to be the main event. For the Iconics Iconics have done nothing too. That's a great point. That I'm set on Rock versus Reigns. I'm set on a Roman Reigns heel turn at SummerSlam. He gets managed by Paul Heyman. We ride this for a few months. Rock comes back at the turn of the year. He challenges Roman Reigns. And yeah, I mean, it would be funny. It would be really cool if Rock came back around the Royal Rumble, because Rock, you know, you've got 2015 was in Pittsburgh, I believe, or Pittsburgh or Philly, and Rock came, you know, to help, you know, Roman Reigns at that time, you know, at that Royal Rumble. So the Royal Rumble area is a good place for Rock to come back, but I am 100% set on Rock versus Reigns at WrestleMania 35. I'm set on that. And no, I wouldn't say The Rock wins the Royal Rumble, although it wouldn't be bad. I mean, I don't see, you know, you know, it wouldn't be a bad idea. I think it'll be obvious if Rock was in the Royal Rumble and he won it. But the thing is, you know, I don't think Rock needs to win the Royal Rumble. I think you can use that for, you know, kind of an like Nakamura winning the Royal Rumble was perfect because, you know, he needed that main event push, and the Royal Rumble is what gave that to him. So The Rock doesn't need to be in the Royal Rumble. He can come back and say, I want to challenge for the championship, and that's that. So really doesn't have much on that too. So yeah, Rock comes back Royal Rumble time. That can be an attraction in the Royal Rumble that Rock, has an announcement. That would be awesome. And his announcement would be that I'm challenging Roman Reigns for the Universal Championship. And at that point, Reigns is still with Heyman. And you have Heyman and Rock. Their verbal exchanges will be amazing. Reigns is a heel. And of course, Rock puts over Reigns. That would be the ideal way to go. So yeah, I'm set on Rock Reigns. I'm okay with Brock. If you do Brock versus Braun, perhaps I'm fine with that. But I don't see Brock being there next year. He could be, but man, I'm not set on that. Now I would be interested in maybe if we see like a Braun turn, and maybe Braun Taker. I would be. The only thing is, I've said this before. I'm set on, Taker should have retired at 28. But if they're going to continue to do this with Taker, I would, Braun Taker, or I wouldn't mind, if someone's on Raw, who would it be? I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing Cena Braun, maybe Cena putting over Braun. I would be fine with that too. Got some great questions here. Kevin's asking, what is your favorite finishing move? Interesting. My favorite finishing move all time or currently. So we'll do that. I'll kick it back to you. Let me know all time or currently. Another question. What happens if Reigns loses at SummerSlam? Would this push be over? See, that would be terrible. It really would be terrible. You don't do that. Kevin saying all time. Reigns isn't going to lose at SummerSlam. His push won't be over, but you can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do that. Wild Boy saying both. Okay, so I'll answer both. Currently, I would say, currently, I would say probably the Rainmaker. I'll say Rainmaker from Kazuchika Okada. That's my favorite. Not as far as execution, but my favorite setup. Because I love how he sets that up and does it, and he's very tall too, so it makes sense for him to just flip someone over when he clotheslines them. As far as all time, I'm sure there's other ones other than the Rainmaker, but that's the first one I can think of right now. All time favorite finishing move. Let's go with the Scorpion Deathlock. Although Sting's my all-time favorite, but I think that Bret Hart does I think he does the Scorpion. The sharpshooter looks better than the Scorpion Deathlock at times. So Jose's asking, is Orton, Lesnar, Cena, Batista your favorite wrestlers of all time in modern era? No, I don't. None of them are in my favorites, actually. Yeah, Stunner's a good one. Stunner's a good one for sure. One Wing Angel. Yeah, One Wing Angel's great to see, great to look at, but Jericho said, man, he'll never take one of those again because he was talking about how he don't ever want to take them again because it was really tough to really be protected by, and just, I mean, you fall right on your neck, man. That can be tragedy for some people. I mean, he puts you in an electric chair position, and then he grabs your neck and flips you over and pile drives you from all that torque and velocity. The whole buildup was the fact that he would always get away from getting hit with the wrong wing angel. So Undertaker versus Sting, although that's not going to happen. So the only thing if it would have to be Undertaker versus Sting with Sting winning. That would be my dream match. So all right, what else to talk about? John Cena returning the same night as All In. So he said he's gonna debut a new finisher. So he was doing some training in the Jackie Chan Training Center, and he said he's going to debut out of the respect for Jackie Chan. He's going to debut a new finisher. So we'll see that happen. Yeah. So John Cena being in the WWE to me doesn't do too much anymore, but it's funny that they would have an interview for John Cena to promote him having a new finisher and returning on September 1st, which is the same as All In, although it's going to be in China, and so that doesn't do much for the American crowd. All In's, of course, it's in Chicago or Hoffman Estates, I believe, like out, basically Chicago. So yeah, I mean, it's funny that WWE still kind of want to be that competitive. It may be a coincidence, but it's hard for me to believe that anything's really a coincidence when when WWE does stuff. And it's funny that he said he's going to come back on September 1st and debut this move in China. So it's quite funny, quite interesting. And do you ever see Neville coming back? Again, if the money's right, if the money's right, anything's possible. But Neville wasn't happy with his run and the way he was being utilized. And of course, the WWE is not going to. They're not going to say, okay, well, we'll concede Neville and we'll give you a big push because Neville isn't in their top 10 people to be a main event star, although he's great in the ring, but he just doesn't, unfortunately, have the look that they're going for. Kevin's asking, do you think okay, so yeah, that was Neville coming back. Jose's asking, what's your favorite pay-per-view name of all time? WrestleMania, I guess. I don't know. I didn't like the In Your House pay-per-views. I think they were too cheesy. I mean, I watched all of them, but the names were cheesy. No Mercy was a cool name. Backlash. Like early 2000s, late 90s, the WWE names were cool. Vengeance. Yeah, those names were cool. Now is a bunch of like Armageddon, a bunch of gimmick names now. Hell in a Cell and TLC and all that, which I don't like. Elimination Chamber. I don't like the gimmick names. I think you should go back to the backlashes and the No Way Out and all that. So those are the times that I miss. So DDP was recently in an interview. He said Adam Cole can be compared to Shawn Michaels. Now, here's my thoughts on Adam Cole. I don't think he spoke very highly of Adam Cole. Yeah, I've said this before. There's just something about Adam Cole that just doesn't click to me. Now, granted, he's super over, and I think WWE should capitalize on that and make him a babyface. I definitely think they should do that. So, because of the hair to super kick, yeah, I guess so. But I definitely would never compare Adam Cole to Shawn Michaels. I mean, listen, strike while the iron's hot. I always say that. Do it. Strike while the iron's hot. I've said this before. The scenario, I would pan out, I would have the Undisputed Era turn on Adam Cole. I think that creates for him to be one of the top baby faces in NXT, feuding against the Undisputed Era. I'm all for that. I think that'll be fantastic. I mean, he gets cheered. I think the Undisputed Era would get booed. They're heels. They should get booed. I think they would get booed if Adam Cole wasn't the leader of the group. So what you do is you have them turn on Adam Cole. That automatically boosts him to be one of the biggest baby faces, true baby faces of NXT, and you take it from there. So, he's super over. He's been super over for years. So I definitely give that to him. But he's cool in the ring. Not bad in the ring. Adam Cole, baby, that's his gimmick. He look wise is too small to be like a big talent. But I don't know. Personally, as far as personal interest, I've never been a fan of Adam Cole. He's good. He's good to watch in the ring, but I've never been a fan, so to speak. Do you think Dean Ambrose will return at SummerSlam and cost Seth Rollins the IC title and turn heel? I do not. I think that Dean Ambrose will side with Rollins in the feud with Ambrose and with Ziggler and McIntyre. Eventually, perhaps, but not initially. Does Cole win the NXT Championship before being called up? Yes, I do think. I do think he will win the NXT Championship before getting called up. Next trivia question. Who did Edge defeat to win the United States Championship? Who did Edge defeat to win the United States Championship? Chris Jericho responsible for bringing Don Callis to Impact Wrestling, according to the Wrestling Observer newsletter. He said that he was talking to one of the higher-ups of the Fight Network, which is the umbrella of Impact Wrestling. Of course, Anthem Sports and Entertainment is the company. And he was talking to one of the executives at Fight. And he basically, Jericho had a conversation with him, and he was saying, hey, listen, either you bring in Don Callis or you fold this company. And, like I said, TNA Impact Wrestling has 19 lives, so they decided to keep it going. So they made a shift and did an overhaul. Now you've got Don Callis and Scott D'Amore at the helm. And they're being funded by a parent company, but you have, you have two really established minds in the pro wrestling business. So yeah, I'm all for it, man. Impact Wrestling gets my vote, and I've been very critical of Impact over the past couple of years, and I was like I said before, I was a huge apologist. Now it's the thing is, I'm for it, man. I mean, they're is entertaining and awesome. This is what I give you, Jose. You're the man. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. No, boys, not a trick question. Edge won the United States Championship. Nope, not Jeff Hardy, Kevin. Nope. All in being aired on pay-per-view. It's Fight TV. I think they're charging a $40 deal for Fight TV. No, I'm not going all in. I was strongly considering. But my family's going on I'm having a family trip. So, around that time. So no. Plus, it's one of those things outside of the tickets, the initial tickets that sold out in a half hour, like the off market brand of value. I just didn't have interest in paying. And then someone had a ticket for me. a friend of mine had a ticket for me ready to go. I was just like, I don't know. I'll probably get it on. I'll probably get it on pay-per-view, or Honor Club. So yeah, I think I'll save the money and watch it on my tablet or desktop or laptop or something like that. I'd be more interested to see it there than actually going. So Kevin, yes, Kurt Angle. He defeated Kurt Angle for the United States Championship. Great job. Here's another one. Here's another question here that may stump you. Is Shayna Baszler my favorite? No. No, he's not. She's not my favorite. My favorite wrestler in NXT right now, women's wrestler, probably Bianca Belair. Although I don't like the fact that they're making her heel now. I think they should have kept her a face. Other than Bianca Belair, I like Kairi Sane. Yeah, Kairi Sane, Bianca Belair. That's probably it. Nikki Cross is okay. Shayna Baszler, man. Lacey Evans, I believe. She's a work in progress. I remember first watching her at house shows, and she really didn't have much of a gimmick. There was a lot to work with her, but she's oh yeah, Candice LeRae is fantastic. Who else am I missing as far as the women's division in NXT? That's really about it, huh? Candice LeRae, Bianca Belair, Shayna Baszler, Kairi Sane, Lacey Evans, Dakota Kai. Dakota Kai is cool too. Maybe I missed somebody. If you were a writer, what would you do to make the product awesome? Oh goodness, we don't have enough time in this podcast for that answer. Just some real quick, just a quick thought. I would create a stable. That would be the first thing I would do. Like the first thing I would do is I would have a kind of mid-year shakeup, because they only have it once a year, and so I would create a bunch of chaos. This is what I would do. Right now, AJ Styles is incredible. He's one of the best in the world, but his WWE Championship run is awful. It's not exciting. There's nothing that I get intrigued by. Not his fault at all. The WWE is very, very poorly booking this WWE Championship. Of course, he gets cheered. He should be. I love him as a babyface. But what I think they should do is to really cause a bunch of chaos. Right now, you have the Gallows and Anderson, who's being poorly utilized. You have AJ Styles. What I would do, I would choose a top baby face. So probably someone like Jeff Hardy, although he's doing some things with Randy Orton right now. Maybe someone like a Rusev, turn him face and do this with him. I would have Finn Balor be defected to SmackDown, just because. There's no rhyme or reason to it. It was not a superstar shakeup. It was something that maybe Constable Corbin. He's feuding with Constable Corbin. Maybe they have a match on a Raw, like loser leaves or something like that, and Corbin beats Finn Balor, and then I would milk it. I would have Balor gone for maybe 2, even 3, even a month, something like that, and I would have Balor show up on SmackDown with AJ Styles and the club, and they all just beat the snot out of someone like a Rusev or Jeff Hardy, someone who's a really super babyface, so people can know that they're heels. The only like super over face I can think right now is like Jeff Hardy. Daniel Bryan, yeah, definitely Daniel Bryan. He's a good one too. So yeah, Daniel Bryan, I would have them just beat the snot out of Daniel Bryan. AJ, Finn, Gallows, and Anderson. So you have those 4, and there's your club right there. and I would have them just attack. I just beat him senseless. And that would leave a cliffhanger to say, what the heck just happened? I would have Finn Balor and Gallows and Anderson come from the crowd, and AJ, I would have all of them, all four of them. I would have all four of them. I would have the main event be like Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, and Daniel Bryan wins. He does the yes chants. The crowd's going bananas. We're about to cut off on SmackDown from on air. And so basically, you have AJ, Finn, Gallows, and Anderson come from the crowd toward the end of the SmackDown and just beat them senseless. That would be my first booking decision there. What's your favorite heel and babyface of all time? My favorite heel would probably be Piper, maybe DiBiase, Piper. Although Flair's up there for sure. Favorite babyface is Sting. Sting's the GOAT to me. Sting, absolutely. Do I listen to Bruce Richards? Mike is asking, do I listen to Pritchard's podcast? I do. I think it's fantastic. It's just I don't have the. It's just too long for me to listen to in one setting. I'll listen to all of the ones on the WWE Network, and I've interviewed. Bruce has been on a Wednesday podcast before, Wrestling Inc. And I was on that podcast, and I had an opportunity to interview him along with Raj. It was cool. Would I see Triple H doing at WrestleMania? Maybe Triple H, Braun. Triple H. I don't know who else Triple H would want to put over, honestly. I listen to Talk is Jericho. I do listen to Talk is Jericho. Not frequent. I mean, yeah, probably two, at least two a month. 2 or 3 maybe. So I listen to a lot of podcasts actually. As people know, I'm a reporter. I'm a journalist. That's what I do, and so I listen to a lot of podcasts to get some information to write about. So, all right, here we go. What was Marcus Corvon's name in TNA? How about that? What was Marcus Corvon's name in TNA? That's a blast from the past, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so we'll be going to do the Raw and SmackDown review. I'm not going to take too much time with this. Jose, how about that? Monty Brown, and he would always say the pound. Period. Yep. Chrono, you're correct. Alpha male Monty Brown. All right, so we're about to talk about Raw and SmackDown. Let me know. We'll do this again. It's so funny because I love Pancakes and Powerslams is one of my favorite parts of the week. Every week, I love talking wrestling. I love interacting with you, awesome fans. Yeah, thanks, Wild Boy. Appreciate it. Dude's impressions be on point, is what he said. I love talking about wrestling. I mean, I make a living being a wrestling fan. But it's funny because as much as I love watching wrestling, love everything about wrestling, make a living surrounded by wrestling, I do not enjoy talking about a Raw and SmackDown, honestly. I just, as you know, I mean, for those, who are faithful weekly listeners to this show, most of it is headlines. Most of it is Q&A. I get much more excitement. I have so much more fun answering podcasts, answering questions and talking about the headlines than talking about Raw and SmackDown. So I got to be up early for work, but was not missing this podcast tonight. You are the man. Period, as Monty Brown would say. Favorite band growing up. Kevin's asking that. I don't know, man. I was a big rap fan growing up. Listen to Christian rap now. There's a lot of awesome Christian rappers. But back then, I would say favorite band. You know what's funny? This was slightly before my time, but I grew up with a big family of music heads. So for decades, and everybody, like, I grew up listening to 8 tracks, and then eventually CDs and tapes. Well, tapes before the CDs. I was big. I was really around the tape era, and Steely Dan was actually I was introduced, by my mom to Steely Dan, and I was a big fan of Steely Dan back in the day. So yeah, I would probably say Steely Dan. You know what? I would say my favorite band growing up was Jamiroquai, but I was growing up at the time. I was an adult when Jamiroquai came out. Was when they were big. When they were big, I was an adult. When they first started, I was in high school. So, yeah, there you go. Jamiroquai, I would say, as far as band is concerned. All right, let's talk about. Okay, so what grade would you give Raw? I listen to a lot of Christian rock. My favorite band is Skillet. Of course, I've heard of Skillet. Are you kidding me? I've been to probably 5 or 6 Skillet concerts, and yeah, great band. Joseph gives it a C minus. Jose gives it an F. Oh, that's harsh. that is absolutely harsh. You give it an F. C minus from DX. Kevin, you've been to 3 Skillet concerts. Yeah, Skillet is awesome to listen to. All right, what are the other grades you would give Raw? What's your grade for Raw? Yeah, Heyman saved Raw. Heyman saved Raw, ladies and gentlemen, 100%. Yeah, 100%. Kevin gives it a C minus. Okay, Jose, yes, I do listen to Vince Russo's podcast sometimes. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. I haven't really had a chance to listen to it much lately. Vince has been on the show before, actually. It was a really good show. It was a Q&A. It was really fun. Anything overseas is uncivilized, DX says. I agree. I would give I say C. It was tough. It was tough to watch. It was. Hey, Jacksonville crowd pop for Reigns. How about that? Reigns gets a nice pop from the Jacksonville crowd. So yeah, it's working. It's working as far as the quest to make Roman Reigns the ultimate babyface. It's working very well, and I think it works even more if just think about that. For years, for 3.5, almost 4 years, WWE has tried to build Roman Reigns as this top babyface, and the fans has just crapped on it just about the whole time. Although Reigns was very over for a while before, I would say. Bruce Pritchard said this: the turning point was when Daniel Bryan didn't win that 2015 Royal Rumble. That was really the turning point. I'm a big fan of R-Truth. R-Truth got a bigger pop tonight than the whole Raw. Yeah, I've talked to him many times on the phone. Very nice guy. And I've got a soft spot for R-Truth because he's a nice guy in real life, and he's just a loyal person, man. He really is. It's good. It's glad. It's awesome to say that he's been NWA champion, and I love his. I love his gimmick. I think his whole gimmick is hilarious, and he does it so well. The backstage interview, say that he's challenging Carmella. I love it. It's awesome. Um, all right, so C minus. What else? What else should I give Raw? Let me see some more grades. I'm gonna go C minus two. I think Heyman saved Raw. I think the whole crying thing, he looked a mess. I think just, I mean, as an actor, he killed it. He did such an incredible job, just really being in the moment, looking like a mess, and just really he did a fantastic job selling the angle, and just it's not a surprise coming from Paul Heyman because he has that type of mind. But it's one of those things, man. He has the mind to really sell the angle, and that's exactly what he did. He did a fantastic job. Um, Kevin's asking, what's my favorite WWE theme song then and now? Okay, so we're going to talk about the 2000 and 2005. I would say then. So all time, anything Sting, really, Man Called Sting, the Crow, any of that. I would say. Now I would say, hands down, the best theme song right now is the Undisputed Era's theme song. That's why it's such a babyface theme. I've said this before in previous shows. It's such a cool kids theme song. I don't think it's fit for a group, a faction of heels. I don't. It's such a cool song that it's really hard to boo someone who comes down to that type of song. It's hands down the best song right now. All right, so I see a bunch of yes, O'Reilly, Colorado with the guitar riff, exactly. Um, should Bobby Lashley turn heel and be like the BA guy? No, I'm cool with Lashley as a babyface. I just don't. WWE doesn't do a very good job booking for baby faces. Like, they're not doing a good job booking for Bobby Roode right now. Although I'm not even, I'm not the type of guy that just because WWE's doing a terrible job booking current baby faces, turn them heel. Like, if that's the case, all the baby faces will be turning heel because they're doing a poor job with Finn. Even Braun Strowman's went down a few notches to me. They've done a poor job on many occasions booking Roman Reigns. So WWE doesn't really do a good job booking baby faces. So if the answer for every one of them was turn them heel, I think that would just kind of defeat the purpose. Just book better for the baby faces. And it's funny because you got such a traditionalist like Triple H. I mean, I know that he's not over. NXT is his baby, and we see that. It has much more of a traditional feel. But Vince McMahon, 72 years old, so he's all about. I mean, you've seen the eras. He's understood how important it is to just really be kayfabe and characters and things like that. I think it was like in '97 or something like that. He had that promo before Raw, talk about no good guys and bad guys. I think that was just one of those things to really compete against Nitro, making it really edgy, but that wasn't a good idea in hindsight, because characters still matter, and we see that very clearly. Mike's asking, what's your favorite match from WrestleMania 22 and 2006? Okay, so let's pull up the WrestleMania 22 card. 22. 2006 was Ray, right? Wasn't that when Ray won? Ray won the so that was what, Ray, Angle, and Orton was 22, I think, right? Let's see. Ray, Angle, and Orton, I think, was 22. I think. Wild Boy saying yes. Okay. That wasn't my favorite match. Let's find out what my favorite match was. Let me pull up that card right quick. Cena, Triple H, no. Michaels and McMahon was really good. I like that match. Oh, Edge and Mick Foley. Oh yeah, hands down. That match was awesome. That was like Foley's WrestleMania moment. Yep, Edge Foley. That's my answer. Kevin says Rey Mysterio is my all-time favorite wrestler. That's a good wrestler to have as all-time favorite. He's fantastic. 100% shoe win WWE Hall of Famer without question. All right, yeah, C-. Heyman save Raw. Big B team comes out with new theme music. I don't know why that's the case. Jinder Mahal is just he's technically beating Braun Strowman, but I mean his stock went way down from this time last year. That's for sure. Ruby Riott comes back. It looks like they'll do Sasha Banks and Bayley against the Riot Squad at WrestleMania, maybe for a pre-show. I think if you add Ember Moon in there, it'll be a decent 6-man. Or to build up for Evolution. So I mean, if you really want to stretch it, you can do Sasha, Bayley, and Ember Moon against the Riot Squad. But if it leads up to Sasha and Bayley splitting up, maybe you want to do Sasha, Bayley, Evolution. We'll see. We'll see where that goes. Rousey and Alicia Fox was cool. Rousey's killing it. I really like her. The only thing, though, I was talking to a friend of mine who used to be who was in Impact Wrestling and has some time in WWE. Was talking to her about just I was having a conversation about just how Rousey was not as protective to Alicia Fox. I'll say that. I'll say that much. I really like I love what they're doing with Ronda Rousey. I think Ronda Rousey's doing a fantastic job. The only thing is that she needs to work on just really protecting her foes a little bit better, because she just kind of she did that with Alexa Bliss too. She needs to be very careful to how she throws people in the ring, throws them in the barrier, things like that. The judo throws, things like she needs to be very careful with that. I will say that. The very fact that she's assimilated so easily and so fantastic, just within 4 months is great, but at the same time she needs to be very careful about protecting her opponents. All right, so what grade do you give SmackDown? Orton's promo, someone saying Jose saying it was awesome. It was okay. Randy to me it's just the same song and dance. It's like, okay, so my mission is to destroy people you like, because I never got respect. Like I don't, to me it's just kind of washed up, honestly. Because when did you never get respect? When did this happen? You've been competing in the WWE for 16 years. You've had 13 world title reigns, 2 Royal Rumbles, U.S. championships, Intercontinental championships, tag team championships. Did he? Has Randy Orton? Yeah, Team RKO was tag team champs, I believe. Rated RKO. So I don't know where the lack of respect comes, honestly. I don't know. But overall it was good, though. I mean, it's a very compact show. 2 hours is fantastic. It really shows how much you can do in 2 hours. That's very meaningful. I would give SmackDown a B+, actually. I'm a big fan of the New Day. I've said this people who know me, who've listened to this show or watched this show frequently, knows that I'm a huge fan of the New Day. I was since day one. All my friends can tell you that. Many people didn't like the New Day, didn't think it was going to go far, but I love the New Day. Respect, but he's not at Cena or Rockstar level. Yeah, it's still kind of washed up. Yeah, Miz and Daniel Bryan stuff was good. Yeah, B plus. I think the Lana and Zelina Vega match was way better than expected. Charlotte and Becky Lynch is continuing their, that's for storyline and things like that. Had a discussion backstage. It just seems like everything's kind of pushing forward, and that's what it should be. So, did the New Day need that win though? The Bar needs something. Yeah, of course they did. It's funny because people say that about the New Day, but the New Day has been putting a lot of people over recently. They've lost a lot to the Usos. They have lost, they put Sanity over in that feud, but they really didn't put Sanity over because we didn't see, Sanity in a big way at all. So yeah, Gabriel's asking, which female superstar are you looking forward to watching in the new Mae Young Classic? I'm interested to see how Madison Rayne does. She's now Ashley Rayne, and then oh goodness, I forgot her name. The black girl with the blonde looks, I forgot her name. Someone knows her name, let me know. But starts with an L maybe or something like that. Very interested to see where she goes. Do you agree that Drew McIntyre, Mike is asking, ask Chris, do you agree that Drew McIntyre is a future Universal Champion? Oh, absolutely. Drew McIntyre's absolute money, 100%. Man, I'd be okay if he wins the Royal Rumble and challenges for the WWE Championship. I'll be totally fine with an AJ Styles versus Drew McIntyre WWE Championships. He wins the Royal Rumble, he defects over to SmackDown, he challenges AJ Styles for the Universal Championship. I think Drew McIntyre is 100% money. Looks the part. He's great in the ring. Theme song's one of my favorites right now. Absolutely, always. By the way, thanks for always answering everyone's questions, Chris. I love the podcast. You know what? You know why, Mike? Yeah, see, I tell you what, man. So you made me pull it out today. Maybe pull out the sound bite. I do it for you. That's why I do it, man. You guys are absolutely awesome. Lacey Lane, thank you. Wow, boy, yes, Lacey Lane. That's exactly what I was thinking about. So we'll see. Lacey Lane, I'm interested to see. Of course, Io Shirai. She's probably one of the best, or arguably the best women's wrestler out right now. Been for a while. Although I'm a big Asuka fan, I think that Io Shirai and Asuka both have that Japanese stardom experience. So those were the two best for a while. Kairi Sane is up there too, stardom as well. So yeah, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I think it should be good. Yeah, Sienna's in the Mae Young Classic. Yep, Sienna from TNA. So yeah, but yeah, overall SmackDown was good. Truth and Nakamura thing was funny. It was great. Bludgeon Brothers kind of put themselves over with some jobbers, of course. And then the New Day and bar match was top notch. It was absolutely amazing. 100%, 100% amazing. DX forgot about Asuka, and Wildboy responds, so did WWE. That pretty much says it all right there, ladies and gentlemen. Although I love Asuka, and I think she's being grossly underutilized. There's some rumblings that she may be added in the SmackDown four-way match, but there's no way in the world that Asuka shouldn't be champ by now. And I think they just that's a flavor of the week that I need to be reminded of. I think that we should talk about one week the top 5 people on the main roster the WWE has dropped the ball on for sure. So AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe is not a dream match. We've seen it in TNA. Yeah, we've seen it in TNA. I'm not welcome people who are coming on the chat room. Welcome, welcome. So you'll get to catch the last 10 minutes of the show, and we're going to go into the flavor of the week, and we're going to talk about the top 5. I like the boring chance directed the Iconics. Yeah. I don't know. The Iconics don't click to me. I don't think they should have been moved up from the. I think they were doing good in NXT, but I think it was too early. Very too early for the Iconics to come. Chris, you're the coolest human being, man. Thank you. I appreciate that. You're awesome. It's their repetitive promos that's the problem. Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's just they're just not clicking to me. It's just they're I don't know. Yeah, I think the promos are one factor of many. That's the reason why they're not clicking on the main roster. At least they clicked well. They did fantastic in NXT when they were their iconic duo, but yeah, they're just not clicking for me. All right, so let's talk about the flavor of the week. We'll be right back. Here we go.
It is now time for the flavor
of the week. Okay, so give me your top 5. I mean, I'm sorry, just name some your favorite songs from 2000 to 2005. I have my top 5. Yeah. All right. Trivia question real quick. Who won the 1998 King of the Ring tournament? All right, so I got to give honorable mention to The Undertaker, the You're Gonna Pay music. I think that was I'm a big fan of Dead Man Taker for sure. But at the same time, it's like it's part of me that's like, you know what? I always wanted to see Dead Man Taker, but the You're Gonna Pay music, it was what it needs to be. It was a good replacement for the Dead Man Taker for sure. So that was my honorable mention. Number 5, I give to Batista. What's the question? Okay, who won the 1998 King of the Ring tournament? Anyone got this yet? 1998 King of the Ring tournament. Yeah, so I think that number 5 was Batista. I was a big fan of Batista. Like, I was a huge mark for. Good job, Mike. Ken Shamrock. I was a big mark for Batista for about a solid year. And I remember going to SmackDown and like marking out. I had a floor seat and I was like marking out when I when I saw his when his music came out, and just the whole bazooka pyro when they still had pyro, which I miss. I think pyro still was a big factor in people's characters, honestly, but they wanted budget cuts, and now you don't get pyro until WrestleMania. Maybe SummerSlam, but definitely WrestleMania. Number 4, I give to Kane, the Slow Chemical Kane. Funny, he actually came out to that theme song when when he did his acceptance speech. So that was really interesting. Yes, the SmackDown Big Fist. Yep. But Batista was the guy, absolutely. Who else? All right, so that was number 4, the Slow Chemical, the Kane music with words. I think that was fantastic. I didn't like the unmasking Kane and all that. I preferred Kane with the mask. That's why I was so happy that it came back with the mask. But that music was fantastic. Number 3, I got to give it to Chris, it was a love song. Yeah. When she's not around. I gotta give it to Benoit. I gotta give it to Benoit's song. Not Benoit, of course, but the composers of Benoit's song. And it fit his role perfect. There's no holding me back. I'm not driven by fear. I'm just driven by anger. Yes, that music was amazing. I think it was called Whatever, if I'm not mistaken. And yeah, that match was incredible for sure. I mean that music was very fitting, and it was singing along with you. Yes, absolutely. John Cena Doctor Thugonomics is what Jose's saying. That was a cool song. It wasn't in my top 5 though, but yeah, definitely one to Randy Orton's theme. I see another person. I'm Back by Eric Bischoff. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, so my number 2 goes to 2005 Eddie Guerrero's heel theme music. I always liked Guerrero as a babyface, but Lita's song was awesome too. I agree. Big fan of Lita's song. Honorable mention for that too. Good job. Yeah, big fan. Yes, with the cell phone. Yep, I was a big fan. I was a big fan of that song, the theme song for sure. Can you feel the heat? Coming from the streets of the ghetto. At the end of the week, I get to keep your dinero. Yeah, it was amazing, and that whole heel run was pretty cool too. With Dominic and Rey Mysterio, and so yeah, I'm your poppy, and yeah, it was awesome. Number 1 for me goes to Chris Jericho. I think Chris Jericho's theme songs just throughout his career is fantastic, and yeah, I think it was great during that time. Absolutely, yeah. All right, got some more people saying Edge, Matt Hardy version 1. That was great. Yeah, definitely big shout out to that as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, follow me at Chris Prolific. Yeah, DX is saying Jericho is number 1 for sure. Yep. I agree. Absolutely. At Chris Prolific. It's my personal Twitter. Pancakes and Powerslams at Crave Wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been an absolute pleasure. Absolutely. Someone saying Austin. Yeah, definitely Austin. You got to throw him in there. Yeah, it's been great, ladies and gentlemen. 300 and All Heel Rocks theme. That's a good one. I was a big fan of that one too. I think, you know what? That's an honorable mention too. It almost has the ability to scoot somebody out, but but yeah, I was a big fan of Rock's heel music. You guys are absolutely awesome. I have I'll say it. Pancakes and Powerslams has the greatest fans in the world, ladies and gentlemen. And that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Absolutely 100%. Go to Chris Prolific on Twitter. Follow me. Give me some tweets. Give me some wrestling stuff. Follow Pancakes and Powerslams at Crave Wrestling. Follow the Facebook page, Crave Wrestling. Appreciate all your support as always. You guys are awesome. You're awesome. You're absolutely awesome. For 332 episodes, ladies and gentlemen, it's been such a pleasure. I've had so much fun. And you enjoy your week of wrestling. God bless. And always remember, I do it for you. Have a good night, everybody. So long.